Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to Season 3 of Royal Clan in ClanGen. When we left off, our 3 tabby newborns aged up into kittens, and we also welcomed in a new member of nobility who has made it to Ghostfeather. The clan hopes that the union will yield a litter soon and help grow their numbers even more. We are now picking up on Moon 156 in the first turn of New Leaf. Let's see what happens next. Okay, jumping into the main events, Royal Clan has no deputy or royal advisor. Royal Clan doesn't have enough prey for the next moon, so we're gonna have to focus in on hunting. Queen Rainstar proudly calls a clan meeting to honor midnight service to the clan. It is time she retires peacefully to the Elder's Den. Okay, so Midnight was brought into the clan in the last episode. She was elevated to nobility from Servant Clan, and as a way of getting her to settle into the clan fairly quickly, Rainstar decided to make Midnight a royal advisor. But I kind of like the idea that Midnight doesn't want to take advantage of a role that she hasn't earned. And so while she graciously accepted for one moon, she has since then decided to step down. So she's not ruffling any feathers. And the cats that had their roles prior to her coming in have now gotten promoted again. So Foxclaw is our royal advisor once more, Ghostfeather is our royal physician, and Freezefur is our matchmaker, which is good because it means that Freezefur can matchmake between Ghostfeather and Midnight. So I suppose she's wanting to focus more on her relationship with Ghostfeather than she is on retaining power. I like that. And then Lotus Gaze confessed his feelings to Cinnamon Tail, but was rejected. Oh my goodness. Now, Lotus Gaze, I had no clue that you had developing feelings for Cinnamon Tail, but Cinnamon Tail is actually mated to Freezefur. So I don't think Cinnamon Tail would be thinking about anyone except his mate. Especially a younger cat who I don't feel like Cinnamon Tail has had a lot to do with. But that's kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting Lotus Gazeable cats to like Cinnamon Tail. I mean, he's, well, I suppose insecure. And Cinnamon Tail is confident, intriguingly enough. You know what? It could be the confidence that Cinnamon Tail has gives Lotus Gaze some measure of reassurance, which is why he finds himself being attracted to Cinnamon Tail. And Freezefur is also confident. So 2 confident cats are like mated to each other. That is very, very intriguing. So I don't think anything would be able to get between their relationship. They're confidently exclusive, you know? So that's what we have for the main events. Now going into the medicine cat den. Ghostfeather, our royal physician, has his dislocated joints. Unfortunately, we're not going to have anyone who will be able to tend to our sick and hurt cats. Out of the den, Rainstar, our queen, has a sprain. Fierce Tooth is still recovering from her birth. Nothing minor. And in terms of our log, Ghostfeather was given Daisy as treatment for dislocated joint. Queen Rainstar was given Elder Leaves as treatment for sprain. Fierce Tooth was given Oak Leaves as treatment for recovering from birth. And Foxclaw gathered lungwort and cobwebs this moon. So I suppose Foxclaw, he did manage to do these few things before the role was given back to Ghostfeather. Okay, well that's what we have for the medicine cat den. Now on to the relationship events. Shining Stripe thinks about how Lotus Gaze is always reliable. Shining Stripe reassures Fierce Tooth about something that was bothering her. Scorch Hollow didn't put a lot of thought into an answer for Flare Freckles' question. Ghostfeather does something that makes Flare Freckles' day a little happier. Ghostfeather guides Inkfeather to someone she is looking for. Bone Kid makes a small sacrifice that benefits Inkfeather, which is adorable. I think the Bone Kid is the shy one, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, the shy one that I have decided is my current favorite. When a clanmate passes by holding stinking herbs, both Foxclaw and Queen Rainstar gag. After completing a chore, Hazel Kit reports to Foxclaw. Hazel Kit is the I want to say impulsive, but I also have a feeling I might be wrong. Daydreamer. Sorry, Hazel Kit. Hazel Kit is the daydreamer. The other one, oh geez. Hazel Kit, who's your sibling? Burn Kit. Sorry, Burn Kit is the impulsive one, I think. And Hazel Kit is the daydreamer. Okay. Ghost Feather is frustrated with Scorch Hollow, but hears him crying alone and immediately feels guilty. Ghost Feather clears up a misunderstanding with Lotus Gaze. Queen Rainstar is starting to doubt the truth behind Freezefur's epic story. Freezefur realizes how smart Lotus Gaze is when it comes to certain things. Hazel Kit makes a small sacrifice that benefits Queen Rainstar, a little daydreamer. Lotus Gaze is feeling upset after spending the day with Queen Rainstar's bad attitude. The clan watchers, Cinnamon Tail and Ink Feather, slowly lose their patience with one another. Cinnamon Tail and Burn Kit get their first stuck together with some sap. Burn Kit, our impulsive one, which this totally makes sense. Fierce Tooth wishes she could get her pill to shine like ghost feathers. Fierce Tooth is telling Hazel Kit something interesting about another clan. Midnight thinks the prey Scorch Hollow is biting into on the other side of camp looks delicious. Midnight bestows wisdom onto Burn Kit. Lotus Gaze can't believe how talented Queen Rainstar is. Lotus Gaze thinks that Hazel Kit, our daydreamer, is very creative. Lotus Gaze gave a pretty flower he found to Cinnamon Tail, so this is when things started happening. Now, I might be misremembering, but I feel like beforehand, when you went into relationships, you got a bit more of a timeline as to when cats either got rejected or became mated. So it would be interesting in that context to see what led up to him confessing and then being rejected. This is the first that I'm noticing Lotus Gaze and Cinnamon Tail interacting with each other in this moon. So Lotus Gaze apparently found a pretty flower. He must have already started having a crush on Cinnamon Tail, which is why he decided to give that flower to Cinnamon Tail. And then he confessed his feelings, but was rejected. So I suppose he had worked up the courage, even though he's an insecure cat, to tell Cinnamon Tail his feelings, which is why he found a pretty flower and gave it to Cinnamon Tail. But then Cinnamon Tail kind of shut him down because he is kind of really happy with the mate he has. Scorch Hollow checks in on Bone Kit every day. Bone Kit, my adorable shy one. Scorch Hollow can't remember a word for the life of him, but Bone Kit helps him remember it. Burn Kit pretends to be a warrior with Bone Kit. So Impulsive Kitten and our Shy Kitten. Ink Feather thanked Hazel Kit for bringing her food. Bone Kit doesn't see why Lotus Gaze is upset about something trivial. Aww. Yeah, I think Bone Kit, being shy, maybe doesn't realize how much courage it took Lotus Gaze to give that flower to Cinnamon Tail. And maybe she thinks that Cinnamon Tail just rejected the flower, not understanding that Cinnamon Tail rejected the meaning behind the flower. So she doesn't understand why Lotus Gaze is so upset, because it's like trivial, just keep the flower or give it to someone else. But Lotus Gaze, is not feeling too good about that. And this kind of reminds me of how Ghost Feather actually got rejected by Flare-Freckle 3 times. 3 times. And now I can't remember which timeline that was in, but he got rejected by Flare-Freckle 3 times before Flare-Freckle then, actually it must have been this timeline, because he got rejected 3 times before Flare-Freckle then ended up with Queen Rainstar, joining Queen Rainstar's harem. And that makes me appreciate Cinnamon Tail so much more for saying, no, I don't want multiple mates, I'm happy with the mate I have. And that is what we have for the relationship events. Now let's go through the cat list, starting off with Queen Rainstar, who is thinking about taking in some kitty pets as apprentices. Don't worry, you're gonna have 3 new apprentices very, very soon. Foxclaw seems to be hiding something in the medicine he gives to the leader. Foxclaw, what are you doing? What are you giving to the queen? Ghost Feather found a wonderful napping spot outside camp. Freezefur doesn't think twice before correcting a clanmate on something minor. Cinnamon Tail enjoys the warmth of New Leaf. Fierce Tooth wonders how Freezefur is doing. Lotus Gaze is grooming away and probably trying not to think about what happened. I wonder if Lotus Gaze, being insecure, might possibly feel as though something about him was unappealing. I don't know if he would see the rejection as Cinnamon Tail being faithful to Freeze Fur. He might see it as something must be wrong with me for him to not like and accept me. Maybe it's the fact I have heterochromia eyes. Like, my eyes are really strange. Nobody else has eyes like this in the clan. Maybe it's the fact that I wasn't groomed properly. Oh, Lotus Gates, don't think like this. You're like my favorite. Scorch Hollow saw a kitty pet sitting calmly next to a dog. Midnight had a nice chat with a kitty pet. Inkfeather saw some wandering two legs today. Flare Freckle is relaxing in camp. Shining Stripe is playing a prank on Burnkit. Oh, that's adorable. How are you related to Burnkit, by the way? That's your grandchild. Oh, that's your granddaughter. Oh, that's so cute. Burnkit is watching Midnight work. Nice. Hazel Kit is craving the taste of a rabbit. And Bone Kit is getting a badger ride from Flare Freckle. That's Bone Kit's grandfather's younger sister. So Flare Freckle would kind of be, I don't know, like a younger grandmother, something like that. I mean, with my family, like the siblings of our grandparents, we just refer to them as grandparents. But depending on the age, or if they're like older or younger, it's like, you know, younger, like the younger grandfather or the older grandfather, stuff like that. So anyways, that's complicated. So that is, I suppose, what we have for the cat list. It's kind of nice to see everyone interacting with each other and being an adorable family. It is time for us to move on to patrols. And guys, I don't know why my brain blanked on this. Maybe because we don't use these terms in my culture. But I had to search out what you call your grandparents' siblings. And Flare Freckle is essentially Bone Kid's great aunt. Like, I searched it in Google. Google AI told me, and I was like, oh, I know that term. Never used it personally, but like, I know that term. So that was pretty funny. So yeah, great aunt. That's what we have in terms of familial relations. So okay, let's move on to patrols. So we need to focus on hunting. So we're going to send out a patrol of 4, and we'll see how they go. We have Scorch Hollow, Lotus Gaze, Cinnamon Tail, and Foxclaw. This might be a slightly awkward patrol if you think about it. I mean, at least Scorch Hollow and Lotus Gaze, you know, the two brothers, they can be together, and then Cinnamon Tail and Foxclaw can work together. But I feel like it would be a little bit awkward for Lotus Gaze and Cinnamon Tail. Cinnamon Tail, based on what I saw during the cat list, like what he was doing in the day, it kind of felt like he was fairly relaxed, like he wasn't overthinking the rejection. But I think Lotus Gaze would definitely overthink the rejection, and I wonder if it's going to influence how he does in the hunt. Like, maybe he'll stuff up because he's not focusing. I don't know, we'll see. But we currently have 14 prey and we need 29. Also, I completely forgot to take a look, but who didn't get food? Because I think last moon was the first moon where we were kind of low on food, or we didn't have enough to feed everyone. So who took the hit? Queen Rainstar took the hit for food, so she missed out on a meal. Our deputy or royal advisor had a meal. Our injured royal physician missed out on a meal. Freeze Fur, the matchmaker, ate just fine. So did Cinnamon Tail, and Fierce Tooth, and Lotus Gaze, and Scorch Hollow. Poor Midnight went without a meal. I feel like that was very responsible of her, considering that she was the royal advisor in the last moon. And even though it was just for one moon before she stepped down, she took her role seriously enough to not eat food on her first moon in the clan. Oh my goodness. Inkfeather ate fine, so did Flare Freckle and Shining Stripe, and Burn Kit and Hazel Kit and Bone Kit. Okay. So the ones who took the hit were essentially Rainstar, Ghost Feather, and Midnight. Wow. They're very responsible cats, but let's send these guys out and see how they do. The patrol comes across a large hare. Proceed. The patrol catches the hare. A large amount of prey is brought to camp. Excellent. So I suppose everyone was able to put their various concerns aside and just focus on the hunt and food. Oh, nice. So now we have 52.4. We don't really have to worry about much anymore. And that's all we have for this episode. There was a retirement and some rule changes within our political circle, and our patrol of royals managed to put their awkwardness aside to bring in a huge haul of food for everyone. And of course, we cannot forget the rejection that Lotus Gaze faced after giving a flower and trying to confess to Cinnamon Tail, who is mated to Freeze Fur and very confidently loyal to him. With that said and done, I'm going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.